that I understand what the center is for them. I think it's important to start to look at what we don't have and think of what we need to do in order to make that thing that we don't have into something that we have in terms of, in other words, not to look at what is being done and whether it is done properly or not and improve it as much as we just start something new. And this is a new center that I'm happy to hear of its existence. And so, for instance, if we talk about conflict resolution, there's a problem not only in defining what the conflict is and what the solutions are, but the mentality of people involved in these conflicts. And I'm not talking about Palestinian-Israeli conflict, I'm talking about domestic conflicts within the Palestinian society itself. We see that the level of tolerance is possibly even second to zero in many cases. And evidently we see the kind of violence that erupts in a single misunderstanding between two persons can even develop into a fight between two clans, two families, two villages, or two cities. The stereotypes that characterize people's way of thinking, these are all issues. They might sound very simple, but they form the quintessential element in most of the problems we face in the Palestinian society. And here we have responsibility number one is to deal with the Palestinian society and move and or manipulate or utilize, I would say, not manipulate, utilize the global understanding or understanding the global experiences in order to solve your domestic issues. The thing is, one of the issues, or one of the, I would say, part of the action plan that the center might think of is if we define a certain goal, we don't know whether it is possible to achieve or not in a given time, but say if we look at Palestine where agriculture is supposedly the backbone of our economy in the absence of proper tourism, if we say, for instance, what does it take to make Palestine in 10 years, in 5 years, I don't know, the major olive oil exporter in the region, for instance, so that you have something. So what does it have, what does it take to achieve such a goal? What does the Ministry of Agriculture have to do? What the farmers need to do? What kind of international engagement we need in terms of funding certain projects with relation to water, irrigation, all sorts of things. So this is the kind of studies that I believe that are very much needed on the Palestinian side, and the Palestinian society, made by people who live the agony of the lack of all these issues. Not only in, I mean, this is only an example of olive oil. What we've been talking about, I mean, everybody in the whole world knows the importance of the Holy Land, so to speak, in terms of in touristic terms. But yet is everything being really done in order to make it the iconic touristic site in the region where people would come and visit, and we know that the tourism can play a very good role in being the income of foreign currency to every country. So this is also things that I don't know whether the minister thinks about it or not, and I'm not saying that they don't, but maybe they don't, but they don't know the way how to get. But people who are professional, who are academics and scholars, that are free of political indoctrination, so to speak, have the luxury of thinking out of the box, have the means of presenting ideas from here and there. The third thing is maybe we see there's some studies that come out about performance, the government performance, various bodies or agencies of the government, and there's lots of criticism. There might be also lots of flattering or appreciation, but at the end of the day, you really need to know. We want. I mean, it's not enough. It's good to say that the World Bank said that the Palestinian Authority is now ready for statehood, and the plan, the 2-year plan for statehood was done perfectly well in the old days of Dr. Salam Fayyad, but that is not really enough. You need to augment this kind of conclusion by the World Bank or other agencies in the world, and say yes. I mean, carry carry it from where it ended a number of years ago, and see where we are today in relevance with that. So, what if, for instance, the center plays a monitoring role of various government agencies and bodies and ministries or whatever, incorporates students of the American university in collecting the data that is needed, in conducting the so-called mystery shopping and visit all sorts of government bodies and see how they function, how they deal with people, whether they listen to their problems or not, and come up with an overall plan, defining where the negative points are and what the positive points are and how to build on the positive points and improve. Because it's all about improving the performance of almost every Palestinian. I know it sounds huge responsibility, but it is. And I think that's where we need to start, so that you would be seen as the main term of reference, so to speak, for dealing with issues on the domestic level, but also you underline your or focus on your integrity, so that even you become, again, the term of reference for international bodies, whether universities, research centers, or even governments. So when they think of, oh, let's talk to the center because they're doing quite a good job. And that brings us to the question of interaction with foreign bodies, universities, or whatever, or having visitor programs, exchanging visitor programs, so that you have a certain team of 6 people, for instance, 3 foreign nationals and 3 Palestinians working in the field here, and possibly have later on send these or the other 3 Palestinians or Arabs or more or less to other areas in the world and carry the kind of experience they have and learn from the experience of the others. It's all about an exchange program. There are so many things. I mean, the sky is the limit at the end of the day. But all we need is to scratch our head and think of something else that we can do. And the main thing is, I believe in the gradual theory, which is based on not the slower, but the firmer your first step, the better the outcome is afterwards. And you grow as you move on. You cannot put a set of objectives you need to achieve when you know that the road to achieving them is so rumpy. You have to be more careful. And I think the best thing is you learn from what you do from the first step, the second step, just like a little baby who starts crawling and walking with 1 or 2 feet, and then they play football afterwards. Thank you.
Yes, I am fully agree, and if you allow me to add a point here, and how can you connect what you're talking about with our center, we are talking all the time about state building, state making under conflict situation. So as you mentioned, is the report of the World Bank is give the reality of the situation, or after 2 years after Salam Fayyad, where we are going now? Are we staying?
That's exactly the point.
Yes.
That's what I said when we have to carry it on.
Yes, are we
pick it up from there.
Moving in the same path to building a state, or it is just media or something like that? So, yes, we talking about locally what our situation are. We, according to the United Nations, the principles and the programs, are working in the state building under conflict, or we are still in the same way? So this is very important point if the center can take it into consideration.
Yeah, but the thing is, not only in terms of state building, I know that the resolution, the conflict is so complex, and we don't even know whether it will be solved this year or next year or whatever. But the substance of the main thing is to make sure that you have enough proper performance within all the government, because all of a sudden, if we wake up one morning, the Israelis are not there, and the state has to be there, so at least the foundations of the state are properly based on solid and concrete ground, and not on, you don't want to wake up and be caught by surprise the following day when the Israelis pull out, for instance, right? And, oh, we have a state, what should we do? I mean,
That's what happened with us. We have 30 years, and after one day we have Palestinian Authority, and we don't have anything in 1994, if you remember.
because nobody imagined the Palestinian
Nobody
Authority.
imagine we have authority, and the Palestinians, they will take care about themselves, and one day we don't have laws, we don't have anything. I remember at that time, and everything is mess.
You know, it's no secret that and many people think of any issues along the line of, let's think of how to cross the river when we get there. No, that's not the point. You have to think now. If you will end up at a certain river, you have to know now how to cross it. Otherwise, it won't work. But
Yeah.
I think
Yes. I think your point is very much valid in a sort of field work, or field trip to some foreign universities is needed. We can get the exposure, exposure in terms of research, in terms of training and skills, and in terms, so far we did not decide our local partners. We want to see some research institutes and their experience in selecting their local partners, not only international. Because at the end of the day, some local partners have internal contradictions between their interests. So we don't want to end up in this mess. So this is really important. So this foreign exposure is needed at this stage because it helps us to arrange and rearrange our camps inside the center. And to do research, yes, I do agree with you that we're supposed to go for research, and we're supposed to have a group of researchers, and our students, yes, they can help. They can go to the field, but under direct supervision from experienced teachers, in order to have something concrete at the end, which help to make, for policy making and decision making. Yeah.
Well, actually, your comment was very valuable because you set the balance between our interventions, which we were very focused on conflict resolution, and then you came with the policy angle of our vision for the center, which is basically to provide policy advice based on the research. But thank you very much for that intervention. We're very fully aware that this center shall serve to help equip political decision-making quarters in Palestine with credible, neutral, and scientific advice on different policy angles, helping, of course, bringing back to Palestine and state building or institutions, and to give back to Palestinian citizens at the end of the day, of course, through research and academia. Allow me now to thank you all for taking part on this roundtable discussion. Hopefully we will be in touch very soon. We will be wrapping up with what we have discussed and maybe setting a solid action plan where we will be communicating it with you, and of course your feedback will be always valuable. Now we will go to have lunch together. Thank you again, and I very much appreciate and value this partnership and the relationship that we have, and the fact that you all came from the different places that you're coming from. So thank you very much for being with us here at the Edmonton University.
I have a short remark just to make already first of the proposal. I assume that this is all recorded and there will be reported and everything.
It is recorded.
I suggest, if it is possible, if it's in line with your policy, if you circulate a copy of the major output of the session for the participants, so that everybody would read it afterwards carefully and possibly add a few more ideas, because because that would be, I think it might enrich even the preparation for and the launching of the center.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will take that.
I just want to thank your leadership, really, like Ayman and Nasil Aslan. I want to acknowledge Dalal and to acknowledge your leadership role, because it's really like you are creating something big. And this role that you are taking, it's to lead for historical change. This is how I see it, and I really acknowledge this. And thank you for inviting us to be part of this big vision that you are leading. So I really acknowledge and appreciate it.
We are leading because you are here. Because you are a leader.
Thank you.
Something big. So I really acknowledge you for this role that you are taking.
Send you my card.
ممكن كمان نطور
Yeah, that's a very necessary area.
This is my
Yeah.
research is about the Palestinian
Yeah.
minority in Islam and which role that they can play
Yeah.
in the Palestinian conflict, not as a bridge
Yeah.
beyond this.
Yeah. No, that would be very good.
Especially
We will,
We finished, yeah?
you know,
Yeah,
issue.
we don't-